stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we sit down, please, we have lost 2 faculty members from Rogers Park School, and we're going to take a few moments of silence just to remember them and their contributions to our school district. Thank you. Now I'm going to ask the Vice Chair to do roll call.
Al Almeida,
Present.
Teresa Bezade,
Present.
Michelle Coelho,
Here.
Kate Canetta,
Here.
Gladys Cooper,
Here.
Dr. Cronin, Lauren Daly,
Here.
Juanita Bush Harris,
Here.
Richard Hawley, Richard Janelli.
Here.
We have everyone here except 2. As we get ready to move down our agenda, we've heard the roll call. I would like to introduce to you Dr. Kara Zamero, who will be sitting in for our superintendent, who is out on a personal leave. To those of you who do not know her, she's one of our assistant superintendent. So we welcome her tonight to sit with us and bring us the information that we need as a board.
Welcome.
Thank you and welcome, Dr. Kisman.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, before roll call recognition, we did a recognition. We're gonna do public participation. The first person on the list is? Yes. Yeah.
Should we read the public participation
I'm sorry.
statement? Should we read the statement?
Okay, I'm sorry. We go back up and read the statement, Secretary.
Public participation statement? Okay. The board welcomes public participation and asks that comments be limited to 3 minutes. The public may offer objective comments of school operations and programs that concern them. The board will not permit any expression of personal complaints or defamatory comments about Board of Education personnel and students, nor against any person connected with the Danbury Public School System.
Thank you. Yeah. The first person to address the board? Frank?
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Frank Ashley, and I was born and raised right here in Danbury. Never left, and I don't intend to. I don't have children in the system, but all I have to say to you is Sandy Hook, and you will know why I am speaking at this meeting. As a proud member of Connecticut Against Gun Violence, I stand before this assembly, actually I'm sitting, to plead for your support of our program regarding the safe storage of firearms. As well as Sandy Hook, I am sure you can all recall many incidents of children being killed or injured by guns. And in the majority of these incidents, access to the guns is in the home. I will not give you all the statistics. They can easily be Googled. but it is a fact that the majority of deaths of children in the United States is due to gun violence. Listen to this quote by Leah Glazer, a former history professor and a mother. Adam Lanza's idiot mother was a legal gun owner who recklessly left them accessible to a problematic teenager. He still could have hurt people, but there was no way, he would have killed 20 babies and 6 others in under 3 minutes without access to guns. I once knew a young man of 21, a boy. He had a gun and was carousing with his friends. They were all drunk. His final act was to put the gun barrel in his mouth and pull the trigger, tragically ending his young life. You know my next statement. He got the gun from his home and it was not stored safely. The task I put before you tonight is simple. We need to make every parent in the Danbury school system aware of the proper storage of guns in the home. I have with me several copies of a sample letter that Connecticut Against Gun Violence has.
30 seconds.
Pardon?
30 seconds
Oh,
left.
okay. I'm gonna pass them around. You can modify the letter as you want, and there are many links, and if you need them, I'll give you my email address and I'll send them to you. I know your efforts will go a long way in helping to prevent or at least reduce the incidence of gun violence. Thank you.
Sir, would you take those, the information and pass it over to our recording secretary, please? Thank you for your comments. At this particular time of the public participation, you can bring your comments to us. We do not dialogue back and forth with people that's bringing issues before the board. If there's an educational issue, someone within the system will get back to you as a contact person. Thank you. Next on the thing to speak is Jakeem. If I mispronounce your name, I'm sorry.
Hello. Good evening. My name is Hakeem Osman. I'm an American Muslim kid who attends Danbury Public Schools. Today, I'd like to say why there should be a day off, 2 days off for Islamic holidays, Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha. This is a celebration that happens. This is what happens after a month of Ramadan, and it's celebrated by bringing people together and sharing cultures and spending time with them. However, Eid is a time to be stress-free and have a great time with many people. Oftentimes, these 2 holidays fall on school days, though, and unfortunately, for a lot of people, we're unable to celebrate the holiday because of they have to go to school. And unfortunately, we're not able to enjoy them without consequences. We have to celebrate at a cost of going to school and missing out on schoolwork, hence affecting our attendance. At Danbury High School, as a student, if we miss 5 days of school, we get something called a CO, which stands for credit only, meaning that we only get credit for the class and 65% as a grade, which affects our GPA. So taking a day off has consequences for us. And I feel like we shouldn't get repercussions just for being Muslim and following our religion. Just like religions like Christianity, we have Christmas and Yom Kippur and Hanukkah, active indulgence of the board meeting, to recognize Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha as a holiday for Danbury Public Schools. Thank you.
Thank you. Marion?
My name author, poet, and member of the Connecticut Eid Coalition. At Danbury High School, I'm the editor-in-chief of the school newspaper, president of the Asian Club, and president of the Muslim Student Association. Hakeem, Fatima, and many of the American Muslim students today in our school district are second-generation American Muslims born after September 11th, and we are still haunted by this horrific attack. With the rise of the Islamophobia industry, negative portrayals of Islam and of Muslims has become more mainstream and codified in media, law, politics, education, and pop culture. This has undoubtedly played a role in Muslim students' experiences with bias and discrimination. A nationwide poll taken in 2020 found that 51% of Muslim students in kindergarten through 12th grade in public schools face religious bullying. Some young Muslims experience anxiety, depression, insomnia, and low self-esteem, while others feel they must choose between being American or Muslim at school. My own personal experience with Islamophobia, discrimination, and bullying as early as elementary school led my parents to move us to the Danbury district because of inclusivity and diversity. I can't even begin to describe how much this positively affected me, personally, psychologically, and academically. The student culture and diversity at Danbury High School are extraordinary. 52 languages are spoken around our school, and each grade has a great sense of school spirit that makes Danbury High School feel like a tight-knit community despite our large size. American Muslims are part of the fabric of the Great Hat City too. It is the home to the largest population of Muslims in the western Connecticut region, most of them young families with children in the Danbury Public School District. There are 4 mosques and many Muslim businesses in the area, yet Muslim students are underrepresented. With all of the animosity around Muslim Americans, recognizing the 2 Eids as school holidays goes beyond simply accommodating religious practices. It provides an opportunity to promote cultural awareness and understanding among students of all backgrounds. By celebrating diverse holidays, we encourage dialogue and an environment of inclusivity, allowing students to learn about different cultures and traditions, and nurturing an appreciation for diversity, which are the foundational concepts of the Hat City. Also, research shows that students are better positioned to succeed academically, feel a sense of belonging, and retain a healthy state of well-being in school climates that embrace students' diverse backgrounds. The Eid holiday has been recognized in many districts as far as back as the 1990s when school closed for the religious occasion in Detroit. Connecticut is not the exception, with Fairfield, Bridgeport, Trumbull, Stamford, Camden, Norwalk, and Waterbury all taking off for both Eid holidays. Because we believe in the diversity and inclusivity of Danbury, we deeply urge that the Danbury Public Schools recognize and take the day off of the calendar for Eid. We urge you to continue showing leadership of kindness, inclusion, and understanding by considering the Eid holidays as off in our school district.
Excuse me, are you all, your 3 minutes, okay?
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Tara? Yes.
My name is Tara Volpe. My child attends AIS. I'm speaking tonight to ask that the Board of Education support a letter to be sent to all Danbury parents from the acting superintendent discussing the importance of safe firearm storage. School shootings are a real threat in our country, as we know all too well here in Connecticut. It is so much so that when new schools are built, they are built with bulletproof glass and secret security plans and technology to reduce the number of staff and student fatalities. A principal from a neighboring community told me that the concern of a shooter entering her school is so real when it comes to her students and staff. Her second priority is education. Her first and absolute most important priority is the safety of her staff and children. The onus of not getting shot at school should not be placed on our children through monthly lockdown drills. It should be placed squarely on gun owners. Some facts from an FBI study. We know that 3/4 of school shooters got their firearms from the home of a parent or a relative. Another study found that while 70% of gun-owning parents reported that their adolescents could not independently access a household firearm, more than 1/3 were contradicted by their children. The study also found that for children and young adults in households with firearms, firearm injury and death, including suicide and accidentals, is less likely when firearms are properly and safely stored. And here in Connecticut, it is the law that firearms must be securely stored. This law was strengthened last year with bipartisan support, and nearly every Danbury House and Senate member, including one that once sat on this board, voted in favor of those measures. I say this not to politicize the issue, but to illustrate that safe firearm storage is something everyone agrees with, including the NRA. This law is a tool to keep communities safe, but if people are not aware of tools in the toolbox, they will not be used. If the idea of such communication feels a little uncomfortable, I encourage you to speak to one of the Sandy Hook parents to get their thoughts on discomfort, or to one of your 3rd and 4th graders, which is right around the time they understand why they participate in lockdown drills. Additionally, we have an obligation to law enforcement that we do everything we can to ensure that they don't have to risk their lives responding to a school shooter. Guns are the leading cause of death for children in our country. Like schools across America did in the 80s when cigarettes were causing an unprecedented amount of cancer deaths, I encourage you to
30 seconds.
Thank you. I encourage you to get this public health information out to parents. This is why I invite the Danbury School District to join other Connecticut districts, including Ridgefield, Farmington, Berlin, Greenwich, Simsbury, and soon New Fairfield, in getting this potentially life-saving information out to parents. Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you for your comment. Fatima?
Hello. Good evening. My name is Fatima Ahmed. I'm a current senior at Danbury High School, and I'd like to start off by saying thank you for the opportunity to speak and share my personal experiences with you all. As a student of this district for the past 12 years, one of the things that I have the most pride in when it comes to Danbury Public Schools is its diversity. I'm speaking today to share a concern that resonates with the district's values towards fostering inclusivity, and it pertains to the recognition of Eid in the calendar of our school district. As you know, Eid is an Islamic festival marking the end of Ramadan, a month of fasting and spiritual reflection. It's a time for celebration, feasting, and expressing gratitude, and uniting our community in prayers and acts of kindness. Eid to me is dressing up and looking my best and praying together in my community. Eid to me is spending time with family and friends, going to each other's houses, sharing good food, and giving each other gifts. But once Eid began to fall during the months of school year, the holiday had changed. Eid to me became about rushing home after community prayers to log into my distance learning class freshman year to complete a timed essay write so I wouldn't risk receiving a 0 as an assessment grade for incompletion. I actually had a friend in that class who wasn't aware of this and had skipped school that day thinking she could make up the essay, but that wasn't the case and she was forced to take the 0, which had tanked her grade for that semester. Eid to me became about worrying if whether or not taking a day off to celebrate an important religious holiday would risk me receiving a CO, credit only, in my classes. Eid to me became about having to sacrifice my grades just to commemorate a day held dear to the Muslim community. In a district whose strength is its diversity, students shouldn't have to choose between attending school or celebrating a religious occasion. Recognizing Eid as a school holiday is not just about granting a day off, it's about acknowledging the importance of religious diversity, promoting cultural awareness, and ensuring that students feel seen and respected. Embracing diversity is not just a goal, but a responsibility. By adding Eid to our school calendar, the district can demonstrate its dedication to creating an environment where their Muslim students feel valued and supported. Thank you.
Thank you. Sabrina?
Hello. Before I begin, I would like to thank everyone for taking the time out of their days to be here. My name is Sabrina Smith, and I've been a resident of Danbury for my entire life. My formative years were spent in Danbury Public Schools as I attended Shelter Rock Elementary School and Westside Middle School Academy. I am now a senior at an independent school located on Erie Brook Road. I hold this school district very dear to my heart, which is why I'm standing before you today to plead for your support of our program regarding the safe storage of firearms. This past year, House Bill 6667 was passed by the Senate. This bill helped implement the necessary precautions gun owners should take when storing their firearms. I felt so passionate about the importance of this bill that I organized a school field trip to the state capitol to lobby for its approval. There, various students and I expressed that if this bill was passed, it would make us feel safer in our schools and hometown. My presence at the Capitol and here tonight is a testimony to the importance addressing gun violence holds for the residents and students of Danbury, Connecticut. I stand before you to ask for your support in urging the superintendent to send an email out to all parents reminding them of the safe storage gun laws that were passed. Sending these reminder emails will serve to keep this important law fresh in people's head throughout the year. After every school shooting, the media's focus is entirely on that event. Then the attention quickly recedes and the media is back to pretending like things are normal, until the next shooting. I'm tired of this cycle and know that the discomfort of sending out email is less tragic than the discomfort of losing another child's gun violence. We should actively be communicating and taking preventative measures to end gun violence in our schools, not waiting for another shooting to occur before we speak out. Speaking as a Worcester student, my school follows many of the decisions that the Danbury Public Schools make. This is why I firmly believe that if the Danbury Board of Education sends out a message about safe storage, my school will follow their lead. Please support me and the Connecticut Against Gun Violence Youth Council as we work to create a safer town and school district for the residents and students of Danbury. And thank you for listening.
Will?
Good evening, Board of Education and Assistant Superintendent. My name is William Sweeney, and I'm a senior at Danbury High School. And today, like many of my friends, I come here to address a matter of paramount significance: the safety of our children in the great city of Danbury. In recent times, our communities across the nation have grappled with the pressing issue of gun safety, particularly within the context of our schools. And this is an issue that demands our collective action. And I wish to share light on the critical aspects on safe gun storage for the protection of all school children in the city of Danbury and as a nation as a whole. Connecticut, like many states, has witnessed tragedies stemming from improper gun storage, incidents where children have gained access to firearms, and devastating consequences from those incidents. It is our responsibility as a community and as a city to ensure that every gun is safely stored, especially in households with school-aged children. This issue of gun safety is not merely a matter of personal choice, but it is a fundamental necessity to safeguard our children and prevent tragic accidents. The statistics are alarming, and people have already shared those statistics, and the statistics are easy to look up online. But numerous lives have been irrevocably altered due to accidental shootings of children who have found and unfortunately used unsecured firearms. And let me preface this by saying it doesn't necessarily mean that children had ill intent or chose to harm his fellow school children. It could merely mean that the children found those guns unlocked or somewhere in a bedroom or the living room where they accidentally discharged it and harmed themselves or harmed somebody else in the household. And as the Board of Education and the Assistant Superintendent and everybody else in this room, you in your hands hold the unique position of influence capable of reaching a vast array of parents and guardians. And a letter from this board and the superintendent can express the urgency and significance of safe and responsible gun storage that will serve as a powerful educational tool. It will inform parents about the potential risks associated with secured firearms and emphasize the shared responsibility we bear in creating a safe and sustainable environment for our children. Furthermore, such a communication from this board reinforces the collaborative spirit that defines our educational institutions. By uniting in a common cause, the safety and welfare of our students, we send a clear message that transcends our individual beliefs. This letter expresses our collective commitment to fostering an environment where our children can learn, grow, and thrive without the risk of fear and death.
30 seconds.
In conclusion, I urge the Board of Education to consider the importance of writing parents this letter in regards to safe gun storage. This gesture aligns with our shared values of responsibility as a community and is a tangible expression to our dedication towards the safety of our children. And it sends a message to the youth of Danbury that their safety and well-being are of our utmost priority. Let us together take this step and reinforce the foundations of security within our educational community. Thank you.
Thank you. Lauren Robertson.
Hello. My name is Lauren Robinson, and I'm a senior at Danbury High School. Looking around the room, I only see adults and peers. Today, you're hearing our stories of people advocating for safe storage for firearms and the release of information out to parents about the safety concern. Informing the people of our community should be of your greatest concern. Informing the people is where real change can root from, and if this letter isn't sent, well, why would it? The day of the Sandy Hook shooting was a normal day in December, 12 years ago. No one would assume or suspect anything, just as I go to school each and every day at Danbury High School. No one assumes or suspects anything, yet in the back of my mind, I still think about escape routes, what I would do in case someone came into our school, and who I would call first. The Sandy Hook school shooting was a tragedy that almost took my lives and the lives of so many others. Sandy Hook was supposed to be my elementary school. And seemingly enough, I was spared my life, but these 20 children's lives were not. We are all standing here before you to ask for safety for those who aren't with us anymore due to this tragedy and the tragedies all around the world. I should not be thinking about these things at 17 years old, and children 6 years old shouldn't be thinking about these things either, yet this is our reality. Students are standing before you today, so please listen to our words. Please support me in the Connecticut's Against Gun Violence cause because it is a rightful safety. Thank you.
Thank you. Our last speaker is Ms. Johnson.
Okay, sorry. Good evening, Board of Education and Superintendent. My name is Tyler Johnson, and I'm currently a senior at Danbury High School, here to speak on the issues of gun safety. I'm sure right now we've heard many tragic statements regarding the safety of guns. Therefore, I speak along my fellow speakers to say that this issue has been long-standing for years. As many of you know, the deaths at the hands of guns is extremely high. Therefore, the safe storage gun laws should be reinforced and made aware of those who don't know. Therefore, it should be imperative that the topic of safer gun storage is acted upon immediately. The safety of kids like me should be first. Therefore, I stress the fact that with the lack of concern and action taken on this matter, it's only a matter of time for another tragedy such as Sandy Hook is likely to happen again. As a student at the Danbury Public Schools, but mostly a student in general, my concerns for safety and storage express the urgency to take action and address potential issues that may have been missed, nevertheless never discussed. I urge you all to stand with me and everyone at the Connecticut Against Gun Violence organization to solve this issue. And thank you so much for listening.
That ends our public participation. Is there anyone that would like to speak, did not sign up on the sheet? Going once, going twice. Thank you.
I'm here representing the Board of Governors from DHS. Does that count as?
I'm sorry, I cannot hear you.
I'm here representing the Board of Governors from DHS.
Yes, okay, yes.
Hi, Board of Ed. My name is Pearl Chia, and I'm from the Board of Governors. I'm president of BOG at DHS, and I'm here to give you guys a sort of monthly overview of everything that's been going on at DHS. So first of all, semester 1 is quickly ending. It was moved a day back due to weather and the snow that we've been getting, so now it's going to end on January 26th. Alongside that, there's a lot of testing going on. We have midterms, we have STAR. The juniors are dealing with a lot of SATs right now. They're doing the NGSS testing, which is for science. Other than that formal testing, the freshmen have just made their academy pathway selections, and that selection was closed today. So all that should be finished. Now for the more fun stuff, winter sports are starting up, and we even have Danbury Wrestling up for the Reardon Report. Musical theater is also seeing a lot of events and success. Movement to Music was an event that musical theater held a couple days ago. A bunch of student groups came and they danced and performed, and that had a great turnout. Our theater production for this year is Mamma Mia. which will be shown April 25th through 27th. Other than that, the big news is that BOG is going to be planning another Spirit Week / pep rally event. The pep rally will be geared more towards the seniors just because of area restrictions. We don't have the outside since it's cold, so it'll just be in the gym with the seniors. We're planning another Spirit Week like we did back in October, but we don't have a HOCO for this to lead up to. But we do have a pep rally, which we're really excited for. It's a good chance, I think, to just sort of get all the seniors together before the big college decisions in March come out. So we're planning for this to be around mid to late February, just for a last hurrah before all the seniors really commit. Other than that, most importantly and pertaining to you guys, Mr. Donovan wants to invite all of you guys to DHS for our Hatters Cafe. Our Hatters Cafe opens up in the second semester, and it'll be fully on us, fully on Mr. Donovan. If you guys want to come for a meal, you guys can email either me or Mr. Donovan, set up a date, and you guys can all visit. And Bob will take you around the school. We can give you a little tour if you'd like. Other than that, I think that's pretty much it. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
Move on down. Is there anyone else who would like to address the board at this time before I move on? Seeing none. I just would like to take time to thank you all for your patience. Thank my assistant for helping me, because you know, you young people write a little bit different than the way I write. And I don't want to mispronounce it in one name, so it takes a little bit of time. And I just thank you for being so patient with us. So we're going to move on to the consent calendar. I need a motion to accept the consent calendar.
So moved. Second.
Motion, could you read out the motion? Not just, okay, could you read the motion itself?
I'll make a motion that the Board of Education approve the items on the consent calendar, exhibits 24-1 through 24-7, as recommended.
Motion made by Kate, can I hear seconded by Teresa? Are there any questions concerning the consent calendar? Seeing none, all those in favor, could I hear aye? Aye. Motion so carried. Thank you. Do we have any educational staff members that would like to come? Okay. Thank you.
Good evening, Board of Education members, and a happy belated New Year to you all. Before I begin, I want to take a moment to honor and remember two amazing teachers who passed away suddenly and unexpectedly this month. John Schlegel and Michael Navarra, both teachers at Rogers Park Middle School, were loved by their students and colleagues. They dedicated their lives to their community and to their students. The knowledge and kindness they imparted and the lessons they taught to hundreds and hundreds of their students will continue to resonate. They inspired so many of us. Our sincere condolences and prayers go out to the Schlegel and Navarra families. So in this new year, our executive board and officers are committed to developing improved communication with the board. As such, you'll be hearing a lot more from me and my fellow colleagues. Lucky you. So tonight, I'll try and keep my remarks brief and outline just two pressing issues. We all know our staff is a resilient one. We do more with less. We endure the hardships of an underfunded system because we love our students and we love our work. However, the challenges surrounding teacher working conditions and student learning conditions, as well as continued assaults on teachers, demand our immediate attention and concerted efforts for resolution. This week alone, we have had 3 schools either entirely or partially without heat: Broadview Middle School, Morris Street School, and G Building at DHS. Contrary to district messaging, These sites reported temperatures in classrooms as low as 45 degrees. These are unarguably neither safe nor healthy temperatures for teaching and learning. While we're very appreciative of our new mayor's expedient effort to help address the repairs needed at DHS, we're not pleased with the underreporting and minimization of the severity of the issues in these buildings and the impacts of the heating issues on our community. I think we can all agree that it's not an unreasonable expectation to expect a temperature that meets minimum state requirements. Earlier in December, 7 classrooms in the lower level of Park Avenue School were flooded after several high-impact storms. There were 3 inches of water in the classrooms, which, as you can imagine, did a great deal of damage. Many of these teachers arrived at school that morning to find muddy classroom carpets draped over their students' desks to dry. There were destroyed supplies, books, and virtually uninhabitable classrooms. Yet students were set to arrive in 30 minutes. This is definitely not the way to handle a crisis, nor an appropriate way to treat teachers or students. Teachers were made to feel like it wasn't that big of a deal and left to sort out their rooms and clean up on their own. There remain serious concerns about mold and air quality. I've been told that it's been determined that the flooding issue is due to improper grading of the parking lot next to the building and needs to be fixed in order to prevent this from happening again. I urge the board to prioritize this repair and provide the classrooms with mold remediation, new carpets, replacement supplies, and air purifiers. Shampooing a carpet, by the way, is just not enough after something like this, which is what some of the teachers were told to do. Instances of assault against our teachers continue at an alarming and unacceptable level. It is crucial to prioritize the safety and well-being of our educators. We implore the board to implement comprehensive strategies to prevent and address incidents of violence against teachers and ensure that teachers feel secure and supported in their workplaces. Teacher assaults can have long-term effects on the assaulted teacher's career, leading to prolonged absences, career changes, or even forcing them to leave the teaching profession altogether. We've seen a dramatic and troubling increase in the amount of student assaults in teachers in our post-pandemic world. This year alone, I have received 39 reports from teachers in Danbury, and that's just the ones that I know about who have documented their assaults. Teachers are harassed, spat at, kicked, punched, verbally threatened, and assaulted almost daily in Danbury. It's at a crisis level. In some cases, teachers feel these incidents that are occurring are not handled strongly enough by their administrators. Some teachers have been told by some administrators, this is the new world of teaching, learn to live with it. I don't accept that for 1 minute, nor should anyone. Everyone has the right to feel respected, valued, and safe within their school community. We need to demand that from all of our stakeholders. As a result of this rising increase in disturbing student behaviors, our teachers are retiring early, resigning in the middle of a school year, and/or suffering serious physical and mental health medical consequences. Many teachers are forced to take mental health medical leaves to recover from the PTSD from simply being a teacher. The fear of assault and the lack of adequate support systems has discouraged teachers from remaining in the teacher profession here in Danbury. This can exacerbate existing challenges related to teacher retention and recruitment. The district has worked with NEA Danbury to update the teacher assault reporting form. This was long awaited and long overdue, but I do believe that our new forms and updated reporting procedures that include checklists for teacher needs is indeed a positive step in the right direction to making teachers feel heard and cared for after an assault. That said, addressing teacher assaults requires a comprehensive approach involving proactive measures to prevent such incidents, providing support systems for affected teachers, implementing effective disciplinary measures, fostering a safe and respectful school culture, and offering interventions to address the underlying issues contributing to violence in our schools. We urge the Board of Education to address this issue through policy, discipline reviews, improved resources for our students in crisis, increase staffing to address students in crisis, as well as developing an improved protocol for supporting teachers who have endured abuse. As always, I thank you for your time and your commitment to address these issues along with us as partners. Please feel free to reach out to me personally if you would like more details from anything I discussed tonight, and I will see you next month.
Thank you. We're gonna move on down. Do we have any of our students to bring us a report and our student representative? No presentation. Next on the agenda is action item. I would like for the board to consider amending the agenda for our action items. We have quite a few action items concerning policy. I'm asking someone to make a motion that we amend the action item. Instead of doing them individually, we would do action item A through G as one motion, and then I will ask for another motion to do H and L because we have a heavy agenda tonight, okay? I need a motion that we amend the agenda to that effect. So moved by Louisa. Moved by Louisa and seconded by Teresa. Okay. All in favor, could I hear aye?
Aye.
Any discussion? No? Okay, so good. Let's move on down the agenda. I need a motion. We're working this together, so whoever wants to make the motion, let's have the motion for A through G.
I make a motion that we accept action items A through G as written on our board packet, I guess.
I'll second.
The motion was made by Lauren, second by Kate. Are there any discussion concerning that motion? Yes, one.
2418,
I'm sorry?
Exhibit 2418.
We're on the-
Yeah, that's the next motion.
Any other discussion? All in favor or question? All in favor? Yes. Aye. Motion so carried. I need a motion for exhibit H through L.
I'll make a motion that the board accept action items H through L as written.
Second.
Seconded by, motion made by Kate, seconded by Lauren. Are there any questions concerning, that one? Yes, Lauren.
Yes, exhibit 2418. In paragraph number 2, there was some discussion, past discussion about including the number of absences for administrators
Yes.
in that report.
In that report? Okay. Can we have the chairperson, do you remember that discussion, Kate?
This is for the finance report?
Mhm.
So the decision now.
Okay. Richard?
2418 report. In the financial report for December 31st, it states continued post-pandemic labor struggles continue throughout most of America. Danbury Public Schools is seeing an increase in not only the number of absences for teachers and paraprofessionals, but also an increase in the pay rate per day hour for subs from our vendor, Kelly Services. And during that meeting, we had a discussion where we had asked to also show the number of absences for administrators and whether or not that impacted.
Okay, could we let the assistant superintendent answer that question, please?
Good evening, and thank you, Board Chair Cooper and board members. I think maybe that some of that information may be included in one of the items tonight on the superintendent report in terms of updating. I do remember that request, hearing that.
and that might be part of the update on the 31st. But when we talk to John, maybe he can elaborate on that information. I wasn't sure if that was part of the board report or separate information coming on the 31st for requested items from the board. But I'll leave that to Ms. Cooper.
So this is the question that's coming about. So this is just the first reading. That's why, you know, if you have any questions that we can answer before the 31st, when we get ready to do the final addition or the reading, we can ask them at that point. So I guess my question is, yes, Kate?
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
I just want to clarify, the exhibit we're talking about is the finance report from
Right,
December.
yeah.
So it's not a first reading issue. But I think if I understand Dr. Casimiro correctly, we're going to get that information. It's just not going to come via the finance report specifically.
Or that comes in the January report.
What?
That was in the January 3rd. This is a policy item, so.
No,
just
no,
not
this is the finance committee report from December.
Madam Chair, what it may make sense to do is to instead have a motion to approve for first read items H, I, J, and K. And then have a separate motion for item L as the financial report, where you can have a discussion about whether or not to accept it as written.
Do we need to amend that?
Yeah.
I would amend the motion on the floor to make it a motion to approve, as you did with items A to G, a motion to approve H, I, J, and K, which are the 4 remaining policies. And have a vote on that, and then have another motion for item L, which is the financial report.
So L would be separate.
Correct.
So I'll make a motion that we amend to approve items, action items H through K as written.
Kate made the motion. Second by Lauren. All those in favor? Aye. Now what's the next one?
So now I'll make a motion that the board approve action items H through K as written.
Motion made by Kate, could I hear a second? Second. Seconded by Lauren, all those in favor? Aye. Any questions? And now we're doing L. Do we ask for any opposed? Okay. No, I did not. Okay, so we go back to, we have 1 opposed. Okay, okay, thank you. We finished with policy? Yes,
I just
Michelle.
want to just confirm that the L item is December, it says 2034, should we just change that to 2024?
2033.
2030.
Yeah,
2034. Okay.
We're changing it, okay, we need, what are we changing?
They have 34
It should say
December,
2023 instead of 2024.
and they got 34 too.
So we need a motion to the action.
So we
I'm so
need a
sorry.
motion to go back and amend the action, motion.
Correct.
Amend the
I'll
action.
make a motion that we amend the action item L on the agenda to reflect December 2023 instead of 2024.
Motion made by Kate,
Second.
second by Michelle. Any discussion on that? Seeing none. All those in favor, could I hear aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Okay, this next
So-
one.
Now, Mr. Giannini.
Okay. Mrs., so next, who's,
Mr. Giannini, normally the chair would make the motion for the report coming out of their committee, so did you want a motion for action item L?
The motion that the Board of Education accept.
Mrs. Janelle, could you pull the mic to you so we can hear you, please?
Motion that the Board of Education accept the December 2024 financial report.
2023.
Could we let,
No,
is it, it's 20, It's 2023 report,
Yeah,
am I
it says
correct?
20,
Yep.
yeah,
It is.
3. I didn't choose
Wasn't chair yet.
read it again, sorry. That the Board of Education accept the December 2023 financial report as recommended by the Finance Committee and in accordance with the Exhibit 24-18.
I second it.
Motion made by Mr. Janelli, seconded by Al. Any discussion? All in favor of the,
I already said.
okay.
I'm going to abstain.
Yes. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
We have one person that abstains. Am I correct? What? Okay. So, motion so carried. Okay. Thank you all for your help. Move on down to Superintendent report. Now I'm going to take it over, turn it over to the superintendent report.
Thank you, Board Chair Cooper. So the first item on the superintendent report references AIS enrollment update. And so from time to time, we provide updates on the staff, the ratio proportions, and the enrollment updates that occur around this time of year. And John Spain is going to give us a brief update on the status of that process.
Thank you. We're almost finished with our annual application process. With more information that we still need to process. I don't know how many of you are aware of it from our budget talk, but recently a change in the state law, and the amount that we bill other neighboring districts has been capped by the state of Connecticut. We can only bill 58% of what we billed this year. So we have to work that into our analysis before it's all complete. And remember, no more than 75% of the AIS students can come from one district or from Danbury. In order to qualify for the state aid that we get to help run that, you recall we looked at that during our budget session, but it's $1.5 million that we receive if we stick to that formula ratio, 75%, 25%. So it takes a little while to line everything up so that all of this money will come in as we're expecting it. And with the numbers we have so far, we're very close. We're almost right on the line. That's not a position we'd like to be in. But we plan to have some discussions with our neighboring partners who will participate in the program with us. Those I expect to go on very soon, and we want to strengthen the program, build it up, and we want to have some discussions to do that. So that's my report.
Michelle?
Just a question, who are the partners you mentioned just now?
We're Brookfield, New Fairfield, Newtown, Reading, and New Milford. And then we have what we call some non-compact districts, and that means we have some students who come from Stamford, Waterbury, sometimes other places.
Okay.
Sorry. So we have students coming into the district. I know that we have a couple that are going out, like for the open choice, but how many are actually entering the district?
Well, we want to keep that formula, and
So
this
it's
is
25.
just for AIS, 25%. Right now, we have, for next year, 76 applicants.
And how many will you accept? Applicants, you're saying?
From out of this.
So
other
you're,
districts.
that's the enrollment is 76?
Right. No, that's the number of applications.
Out of district?
Correct.
John, do we still get it, as I recall?
Excuse me. Michelle, are you
That
finished?
was a yes, I said thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Teresa
Thank
had
you.
her hand
Oh,
up.
I didn't see it, I'm
okay.
sorry.
Okay, so
So the 25% is 76 applicants of the total.
If nothing changed, in the next few days, yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
that's for, yeah, yes. Okay, right. Mr. Janelle?
John, do we still get a differential between the monies for the Danbury student and the other out-of-district students? Can you, if you have them available,
Yeah.
tell me what the rates are?
This year, for every Danbury student, we get $3,060 from the state of Connecticut. And for every student who comes from out of district, $7,227.
Thank you.
The combination creates the 1.5
Sure,
million.
okay, I just wanted to get the rates. Thank you.
Lauren?
You said that next year will be 57% less. Did I understand that? So are we getting,
The state of Connecticut, late in the budget process,
right,
put a cap on billings that districts can do to other towns for magnet schools. The same cap was put on districts that run VOAG, vocational agricultural high schools,
Right.
Chippewa, Nonawag, all of us, the RESCs, which run probably most of the magnet schools in Connecticut, they're limited to, we all have to reduce our per pupil amounts down to 58% of what it is this year. We're all hoping that there'll be some state aid to make up for that, but we don't have the specifics yet if that's gonna happen. Watching the short session, it's about to begin.
okay. So out-of-district students will get approximately what, for the 57% less, it'll be approximately what a Danbury student cost. Correct?
This year, we're billing $2,200 per student to those other school districts. In addition, we get money from the state, the $3,000
Correct.
I mentioned. But next year, we'll have to lower that to, I think, just under $1,600 per student. So what we've done, and we'll get into this, I hope, a little bit on Wednesday. We have I'll call it a subsidy in the Board of Education operating budget to balance the AIS program. The current budget is the first time we had to do that. We put in about, I think it's $275,000 this year. And the budget you have in front of you increases that subsidy a little more than $300,000 to make up the 42% that we're gonna lose, unable to bill.
Are there any other questions to John?
Thank you, John. So the next item under superintendent's report deals with I'm gonna skip down to the Broadview Middle School schedule and just provide that update. And then, John, I'll ask you to help us with an update on E and D together in a moment. So those two go together. So a little while back in the fall, our parents at Broadview Middle School and staff were informed that we need to make some scheduling changes as a result of the schedule that was implemented for the start of the 2023-2024 school year. Broadview Middle School is a very crowded middle school at the moment, and I think when the schedule launched, there was some very well-intended attempts to try to deal with some of the enrollment issues there through redistribution in some creative ways. And as a result of that, though, we did find some, very large discrepancies and inequitable opportunities for students when it comes to their ability to be able to access services that are mandated, for example, special education, multi-language learner, and bilingual services. In addition, one of the things that were part of the superintendent's priorities this year was the real dire need to implement intervention in the form of a WIN block, which is what I need. Coming out of the pandemic, it was very important to have, especially in the two comprehensive middle schools, a structure that would allow for staff to intervene and target students who needed additional assistance, and also to help accelerate students who are ready for more. And so with some of our central office staff worked very closely with the building administrator to begin to make some adjustments to the schedule in the fall. And it came to a point where we realized that the schedule needed to be redone. It's not very common to do that in the middle of the year. It's quite disruptive, quite frankly. It stresses the staff out, stresses the students out, and of course the families. But it was something that really needed to be done given the gravity of the substantive issues that existed. And so we did work with the Broadview leadership team to implement those changes. We did talk to some of the veteran staff to make sure we heard that their concerns and that we stayed in close touch with the ongoing issues. That schedule is set to roll out this Friday, and Mr. Kimball has been updating the parents regularly, and today the students had an opportunity to confer with their school counselors when they had access to their new schedules, and then tomorrow will be a walkthrough of about 45 minutes in each class just to get the students accustomed to the new schedule, to reduce a little of the anxiety of potentially switching in the middle of the year, and making sure that I would say all the trains are running on the track and they are not crashing. So almost will feel like a first day of school when you go through a new schedule and there's changes. They'll work out those glitches. Staff at Broadview are extremely professional. They've been very hardworking, and they deserve a lot of kudos for the efforts that they're undertaking to help make these changes. So we appreciate that. We appreciate them very much. So again, the schedule is set to launch on Friday. I will be on site to see how that goes, and we'll make necessary changes as needed as they arise. Any questions? Okay. Thank you. And the next two items, B and C, the special meeting on January 31st. So that meeting was originally slated to have another workshop on the budget, and mainly to also update the board on some of the items that were requested. There was requests for grants, understanding what's in the other category, staffing details of the new positions, enrollment updates, magnet split, we touched a little bit on that today. And then some items that were in the tech budget, there were some questions. And then that's where I mentioned that might be the appropriate meeting if that, for the, because I did hear you request that at one point in the last couple of meetings for staffing absences. So perhaps, John, if you want to talk a little bit about that, maybe how that all might play out in that meeting.
Yeah, so as Karen mentioned, we're putting together answers to all the questions that were raised, and she went through what those are. And we'd like to get those out in the mail to you Friday, so you have time to look at them, and then maybe on Wednesday we could go a little bit deeper into them with any clarifying questions and things like that you have. We would also go through some of the ideas you raised at our last meeting about the book itself. I know there was for example, there was a suggestion in some of the slides, add some narrative on the slide to make it a little easier to read on its own. So we'll walk you through the changes that you've suggested. We'd also, in talking today, maybe before Wednesday, if we can, I know you have a very busy schedule next week, is find time for the Finance Committee to meet before that. We'd like to take a deeper dive into what's happening with this year's budget as it relates to the request for the interim appropriation, how that impacts setting the budget for next year. I sent some information around to the Finance Committee this afternoon. Hopefully we will have a little time to talk about that if people can. And what we'd also like to do on Wednesday is spend some time on what we've described as the lights on budget. we gotta have a better name for that. But we wanna go through that with you, some of the basic things that are in any school budget that we haven't had a chance to talk about yet. For example, the transportation line, the contract with STA, that together is over $10 million. I'd like to show you how that appropriation was arrived at, the number of buses, the price per day, what's in there. For example, what's in there for the non-public schools, that was something that came up during the year. Walk you through that, walk you through how we set the budget for utilities, what prices we're estimating on electricity, things like that. Show you what we'd like to do for repairs to our buildings in the budget, all the things that are, you know, in any operating budget. We spent a lot of time on the budget drivers, the things that are new. We want you to become very familiar with the rest of that. So we thought maybe a classic line item review of the budget. We'd show you the budget and it's the line items you're used to seeing each month, and we could go line by line or however you want us summarize it on why lines are up and why lines are down. And see if when we're through with that, we have a good feel for what's in the whole thing. So that's what our thinking is for Wednesday right now. And as Dr. Casimiro mentioned, bring back some answers to other questions that are out there.
Does anyone have any questions of John at this moment? Yes, Mr. Janelle.
So therefore, could we, at some point, today is Wednesday, between the next couple of days, think of perhaps Monday, if that's suitable, to have a finance committee meeting. I'd like to have a meeting with finance people in person, not virtual, to go over some of the information that John has sent out today. I think it's important, and that discussion will lend itself to the lights on budget as well as other information. So I think it behooves us to meet before the Wednesday, so it's more productive on Wednesday. You know, the budget as presented now, you know, I think we beat to death with the $28 million in drivers. It's some fine tuning, but we have not addressed the $160 million, as John has explained, in the lights on budget. So if there's a way that we could work in, and I'll work this out with whomever, the meeting on Monday for a finance committee, that is what I appreciate.
Yes, Kate.
Mr. Canelli, we have a community relations hold for that evening at 6 p.m., but that's not expected to be a long meeting. I don't think it's going to be more than a half an hour, maybe 45 minutes at most. I wonder if we could stack those meetings.
Sure. Great. Okay, thank you. Then we'll work out the time and the official notices.
Let the assistant superintendent and the secretary work out the details for Monday and get back to both of you, please. If it's possible that we can do it, and our finance director, if it works out that he will be able to participate, then we'll move forward with that, okay? So we're moving on down the agenda. We have the calendar that's up for information, and this is here for information. I think that we will vote on it at our next meeting. So I'm asking you, because a question will come up concerning the calendar versus last year. So make sure that you can compare, and we sort of decide as a board how you're going to make the decision as to how you're going to accept this. And it's nothing that we have to do tonight, but read it and look at it, and then we'll come back and we'll vote on this at our next board meeting. Am I right? Yes. Yes, Kate.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I ask if there be any consideration given to some of the public testimony we heard this evening. I'm wondering if there'll be any consideration given to the public testimony that we heard this evening with a request for some additional days off for our Muslim students. So I think that would be an item for the board to discuss for sure. But also adding holidays into the calendars is complex in the sense that I don't think it would happen for these calendar cycles. There are union negotiations, labor contracts when we have time off, so it's a very complex process. So something I think that the board should revisit as a separate item. So,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Any other questions concerning calendar? So we move on down. Board chairperson report, very brief. I want to thank the board members. We had a busy week last week. You took out of your schedule and you attended the meeting. I certainly want to thank you on behalf of the board and our leadership team. I want to personally thank Kate and Michelle for the attendance at the Dr. Martin Luther King program on January the 15th. I truly appreciate them being there. And I most likely would thank, on top of that, Danbury High School band, who was fabulous at that affair. And I hope next year, when we sponsor this again at the church, that we will have more students come and participate. Because our band came, and I can say this, they showed art. And it was just beautiful to see the young people, how they was involved and participated. So we're excited about getting it started again and getting all set up for next year. And I just want to thank the board members that showed up. I really appreciate that. Before I finish my report, then you can jump in. Read your email. Please don't go 2 or 3 days and not read your emails. It's very important information. You know, sometimes we have to set up appointments that we forget that might pop up and we don't have the time. So just, if you can't do it, you just let Carol know, because she shouldn't have to, you know, email you 2 or 3 times during the day to check your emails. So read your emails, okay? That's basically all I have to say. Again, I'd like to thank everybody's support, and you all know me, that we're here to work together. All 11 of us work together, and if I make a mistake, you let me know. If I can't hear you, I'll let you know. So we can work together to make this a good working relationship, which I think we already have, and just support one another and do the right thing for this district. Okay? Yes, Kate.
I just want to thank you, Madam Chair, for the invitation. It was a really lovely event at New Hope, and I really would encourage anybody who has never been to the congregation, and the space was very welcoming. And I just wanted to mention that Louisa was there as well.
See, I forget. And thank Louisa, the Vice Chair, for coming. I know it was not. Thank you all so very much. Okay? So if there's nothing else, Lauren, did you want to say anything? Okay. Thank you to Lauren for your help and your support. If there's nothing else, I'm going to ask for a motion to enter into executive session.
I'll make a motion.
Motion is made by Mr. Janella. Could I hear a second? Second by Michelle. All those in favor? Aye. Motion so carried. We're going to take a 5 minutes break so people can move out so we can go into executive session.
Yeah.
Yes. You want to make the,
Do you want me to read? Whatever you want me to do, I can read it. That's
I
absolutely
can't
fine.
read very small writing these days.
I'll read it, absolutely.
It really depends on the kid, on the thing. It'd be more clear. Yes. Mr. Moon. He says, okay, so. At this time, we're back into public session. I would like the secretary to read the motion.
The Danbury Board of Education has been notified of Mr. Walston's decision to take personal leave, and the board recognizes the need for Mr. Walston to take time to address his personal issues. In the interim, the Board of Education will be exercising its due diligence to assure that the interests of the Danbury Public Schools are safeguarded.
That would be in the form of a motion to adopt that statement.
Motion was made. Second. By Lauren. Did I hear a second to that motion?
Second.
Second by Kate. If there's any questions? Seeing none? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposes? Motion so carried. Okay. I need a motion to adjourn our meeting.
So moved.
Second. Moved by Kate, second